Recognize Mr. Gill from Texas.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. This is an excellent hearing, and we really appreciate your leadership, incredible leadership on this topic and on this community, on this issue. And I'd also like to thank our witnesses, Ms. Turner and Ms. McNabb, for particularly moving testimonies. And thank you for your bravery for coming here. I know it takes a lot of guts to testify before congressional committee. Mr. Layfield, I'd like to ask you a few questions. Do you think that men should be allowed in women's locker rooms?
Sir, those regulations are set by tort minority.
I'm just asking you yes or no. Do you think men should be allowed in women's locker rooms?
I don't have a personal opinion on
You don't have you have a personal opinion on a lot of things, but not on that?
Sure. I mean, a locker room is not really an area where people interact.
So the answer is yes.
I don't
Do you
really
think that men should be allowed to share showers with women in athletic facilities?
I think that showering is a private activity and that it should be private.
And it should be private. There's oftentimes communal showers. Are you okay with men showering with women?
I don't have an opinion on that in the context of USA.
You don't? So. Interesting. That's an astounding thing to not have an opinion on. I think most normal people have an opinion on that.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Okay, here we go again, folks. Another Brandon Gill takedown, and this one's really good, just like the rest of them, folks. This is a facts don't care about your feelings festival, if you will, and you gotta love it. I love doing these. By the way, y'all let me know down in the comments if you like these. They're just great. When you bring the facts and you bring the evidence, these people, they just completely crumble and fall apart. I'm loving every single minute of these, and I'm loving Brandon Gill, who just came out of freaking nowhere, right? I've never heard of this guy before. I don't know. Let me know down in the comments if you guys have, but anyway, y'all do me a favor and smash that like button for me. Subscribe if you're new around here. Share this video anywhere and all over the place all at the same time with every single person that you know. And if you would be so inclined, I would greatly appreciate if you would look right below the video and click that join button. Sign up, become a member, help this channel expand and grow and prosper, y'all. But without any further ado, let's get into it.
Are you okay with women being at a disadvantage when competing against men in sports?
Sir, mixed events happen all the time, and
no,
women are
that's not my question. Are you okay with... Let me ask it this way. Are you okay with cis females being at a disadvantage?
If their competitor, assuming that you're talking about...
It's a yes or no question.
Female, that they've met the requirements set forth in the policy.
Why did you post on social media for the world to see? You were asked in an anonymous question, which you posted online, are you okay with cis females being at a disadvantage? You said, yeah.
Yeah, I believe it was Congressman Cloud that had asked me about that, sir, and I'm happy to address it again. That was a one-word answer to a more nuanced topic, and I feel like if I could take it back and expound a little bit more than what I had there.
Reclaiming my time.
Okay, sorry to interject, but just for clarification purposes, he just said that he posted an anonymous question and then answered his own question. Just getting that out in the open, folks.
Sure.
Do you think that women, do you think that parents who don't want their daughters competing against men in women's sports are whiny?
No, sir.
You don't? Why did you write that on social media? I've got a picture here where you posted that. You were allegedly responding to a parent who didn't want their daughter being beaten up by men in sports competitions. You said, I'm not going to pull her from the sport and write a whiny email announcing my departure.
Sir, Congressman Jack had asked me about that, and want to be crystal clear, that was an inappropriate message.
Do you think that they're cowardly?
Sir, no, I don't. I don't at all. And in fact...
Why did you write that on social media?
I regret it, sir. I deleted it shortly after posting, and I certainly don't feel that way anymore. And given a lot of the messages that we receive, and even conversations that I've had...
Do you think that parents
Turner,
who don't want their daughters competing against men in sports should be compared to the Ku Klux Klan?
No, absolutely not. And
why did you
do
do
that? I said
that
in the message, sir.
Why did you do that?
That was inappropriate.
That was inappropriate?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're right. That isn't inappropriate. I'd like to read what you wrote and what you posted on social media.
Sure.
Responding allegedly to a lady who had these concerns. The only wizard that's going to dig you out of the myopic hole you've put yourself and your family in is one of the, quote, grand wizard variety.
Inappropriate, sir, and I acknowledge that I said it, and I will commit to never making a message like that again.
That was in response to a parent, according to you on social media, who had a problem with this. Was this a real email that you were responding to?
It was a real email, sir. I did not respond to it and hit send.
This was a real email. Did an actual parent write this, or did you write this email?
It was written by an actual person claiming to be a parent. They were not a member of our
Were you that actual person?
No, sir.
You were
I was
not that actual person, but you staged this whole interaction.
The response, sir, was not real, and I regret that.
Okay. You think inclusivity presumably is a big part of the fencing community, is that right?
I would say so, sir. We're a very welcoming community, and I'm proud of that.
Are you welcoming to Trump supporters?
Absolutely.
Then why did you, in your Facebook page, from the fencing coach, write, imagine being one of 71 million people dumb enough to vote re-election for a treasonous clown who's permanently banned from Twitter for inciting an insurrection, you mad MAGA bros?
I acknowledge that I stated that in my personal capacity, sir. However, as chair,
That was from the fencing coach.
I have to acknowledge that 77 million people voted for him in re-election.
That wasn't your personal capacity. That was from your capacity as, quote, the fencing coach online.
Yes,
Like,
that is my blog, sir. That's my publication, and I acknowledge writing that.
All right, my time is up. Thank you. I yield back.
Wow. Okay, thank you for that, Mr. Gill.
Okay, so for more clarification purposes, check this out, John. Trump unfit to be called a clown. Says actual clown. Yeah, that was an op-ed written by a 24-year veteran clown, as a matter of fact. But you got to love this. This is the left, folks. This is Democrats. This is what they do. This is who they are. They are just filled with hate. And they hate you. They hate MAGA. They hate America. They hate everything that makes our country great. They want to see this country crumble. They want to see it burn to the ground. This is why Joe Biden was actively trying to destroy this country while trying to make it look like he's not. Open borders, we know. Joe Biden himself said back in the 1990s that unfettered, unchecked, unvetted illegal immigration burns cities down. That's word for word Joe Biden's quote. He said that. And he flung open the gates and allowed God knows how many people to come in because we don't have good hard numbers, right? The gotaways. Those are only estimates, by the way. You'll hear like anywhere from 2 to 5 million gotaways, just gotaways. That's not to mention the 15 to 20 million that came in that we do know about, right? So, but you hear estimates 2 to 5 million. But anyway, this is who Democrats are, folks. They don't care about tradition. They don't care about norms. They don't care about morality. They say they have morals and, we're standing up for justice. Well, what kind of justice? Is that flavor of the week justice? Like, explain this to me. How in any world is men taking showers with women, especially like in college or freaking high school or any place like that? Like, how is this okay? Like, I understand. Look, there are places that have multi-gendered, we'll call it that, showers. Like, that's, if people choose to go into those places, then you get what you get, right? But look, this is not by choice, most of this. A lot of these women are forced to compete with men. I'm going to call them men. Yes, men. Because you cannot just wake up one day and say, I think I'm a woman, and just all of a sudden think the world is going to treat you as if you are that. That is not how the world works. That is not how reality works. And biology cannot be changed. You cannot change your biological sex. That is a hard reality that these people have to live with. But you'll hear them scream, trans women are women. But are they, though? What does woman mean? This is why they can't answer that. They cannot say, they refuse to say adult human female. They'll say something like, person with a uterus, or that's not even actually applicable. But, they'll actually say something like, well, whoever identifies as a woman. Well, that's a circuitous definition, by the way, in case you guys were wondering, that you can't define something using the word that you're trying to define. It just, no, That's not how it works. It's like saying, what is a frog? Well, it's that frog right over there. That's what it is. No, it's all nonsensical, folks. It's cult-like adherence to social liberal orthodoxy, which, can we pin down what that is exactly? No, because it changes, folks. And this is why the ideology of the left doesn't make sense to a lot of people, because it's amorphous, folks. It just changes. It just morphs and moves. And, this is why you get people that will simultaneously yell and scream at the military-industrial complex whilst also having a Ukrainian flag in their profile picture. How do those two make sense? Because the military-industrial complex is funding the Ukraine war over here. These are the same people that will get out there and yell. They'll yell and scream at Israel that they're committing a genocide. Well, how does that make sense? How do these same people get on the side of the never-Trumpers, who are a lot of times conservatives? How does that work? How do you reconcile that position? Well, it's all because of one thing. One common unifying factor, folks. Hatred of Donald Trump. Hatred of America. These people they want to see this country burn. They want to burn it to the ground and build back up their liberal communist paradise. Some utopia that will never happen, right? These people are so arrogant to think that they can look back at the history of communism and say, yeah, I think that's what we're going to try. We're going to try this. Really? You're going to try communism? I mean, look at what they're doing in New York. Look, I get it. I totally get what's going on in New York. You got a lot of people that have been beaten over the head, especially Gen Z. They've been beaten over the head simply due to Congress failing to act and spending our way into oblivion, deficit spending our way into oblivion. And the American dream is getting further and further and further out of sight for these people. Then you get this guy, very charismatic figure, coming around saying, look, broke people out there, we'll make government-run grocery stores. And these ideas, they just click with Gen Z, because they're like, well, we can't seem to find the American dream. We don't even know which direction to go. And they hear this and they're like, oh, well, this is going to help a lot of people. But what they don't understand is that, seizing the means of production, yeah, we know what that leads to. And that ultimately leads to piles and piles and piles of bodies. That's the bad part about not knowing your history. Once again, folks, it's worth repeating, and I'll say it time and time and time again. If you do not know your history, you are doomed to repeat it, right? And if you do repeat your history, bad things have happened in the past. That's all I'm going to say about that. But this whole transgender nonsense, it's just Looney Tunes, if you ask me. It's divorced from reality. None of it will ever make any sense. Look, I understand. I get that people, they feel a certain way, right? Sure, you can feel a certain way. But you don't affirm those feelings when they are not aligned with reality. You must come to grips with reality. You can't deny reality. It's just not something you can do. And we don't need to be mean to these people, right? Like, you get a lot of trolls online, and that they're hateful to these people, and that's really not the right angle to take, y'all. You've got to be firm with your affirmation of what they actually are, but also at the same time nice about it. You know what I mean? You can't be a complete butthole to these people. They've got some issues going on up here, right? We're not going to go up to the paranoid schizophrenic and tell this guy, hey, I think your toaster is trying to... No, you're not going to do that. That's going to send him into a paranoid delusion even further, right? We just don't do these things. I think it's more harmful than it is good. And none of this affirmation BS has proven to work, right? None of it has proven to work. It is only causing more problems. I think the rest of the world gets it. But us here in America, that we don't get it yet. The left is stubborn, folks. But I think I've rambled on for long enough on this one. I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comment section. How do you like Representative Gill right here? I love how Marjorie Taylor Greene ended that. Wow, that was wild, and it was wild. I mean, some people are just, they've got some ideas, and we'll just go with that. They've got some ideas. But y'all let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comments section. Y'all don't forget to smash that like button for me. Subscribe if you're new around here. That would be greatly appreciated. Hey, share this video anywhere and everywhere you can. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell the homeless guy on the corner. Tell everybody. Screw it. Why not? Sign up, become a member. That would be great. And y'all try to have a good day. Stay legitical. Peace.